Breaking news right now into the newsroom. This is a live look at the scene of a deadly crash, a one-car crash. Police tell us the driver crashing into a pole. So you're looking at this down in South Austin. This is along Slaughter near the service road of 35 and Congress. Okay, so South Austin, where we have this deadly crash. We will be watching this for you because there are lanes blocked that are associated with this crash. So please use caution.
Former elementary school art teacher in Austin was sentenced today for possession of child sexual abuse material. 54-year-old Kevin Abeta was sentenced in Hayes County to 71 years in prison. That's according to the DA, which identifies Abeta as a former Travis County educator who worked at Campbell Elementary School. And it says a jury found Abeta guilty of continuous sexual abuse of a child, 6 counts of possession of child pornography with intent to promote, and 13 counts of possession of child pornography. Concerns surrounding the state's system for investigating death reemerged this week at the state capitol during a House hearing in response to the recent deadly floods. House Bill 1 largely focuses on concerns surrounding flood victim backlogs and identification issues in Kirk County, where at least 117 people died last month. In Texas, most counties, including Kerr, don't have their own medical examiner and instead use elected justices of the peace for death inquests. After the floods, justices there were inundated and had to rely on medical examiners from Bexar and Travis counties for autopsies, along with teams from the University of Texas, North Texas, I should say, Health and Science Center there for rapid DNA testing.
We have great justices of the peace all over this state. Frontline citizens, frontline elected officials doing a tremendous amount of work. I think in certain circumstances when we have an overwhelming event like this there is always the need for additional resource, understanding, and capability.
We don't know what the next disaster is. We don't know what form it's going to take or when it's going to come. What we can do is mitigate the devastation that comes with the next disaster, and this is just one of the bills that's attempting to do that.
Among other items, House Bill 1 aims to establish a training program for justices on managing mass fatality events, including autopsy referrals, identifying bodies, and coordinating with other agencies. Justices who fail to take training during their first year in office could be removed. The bill was left pending in committee. For more than a year, our investigative team has been digging into challenges with the state's death investigation system, especially when it comes to criminal cases. You can check out our complete coverage by clicking on the Hanging on Backbone Creek button in the investigative section of KXAN.com. Now, as for resources to monitor the rebuilding process after the floods, Texas Appleseed, an advocacy group, is launching a dashboard to keep track of FEMA's assistance claims. You'll be able to find it on the Disaster Equity Data Portal. The dashboard will cover the 10 Texas counties with disaster declarations that include individual assistance. FEMA says more than 6,500 applications for assistance have been submitted so far, and the data reveals nearly 40% of applicants reported their home is either uninhabitable or was destroyed by the floods, and only 3% of applicants had flood insurance, and about 30% of applicants had homeowners insurance. New data is expected to be reported weekly. The night off. The city of Austin is losing more than $100 million it was counting on for the I-35 cap and stitch project we've been telling you about for months. So what does this mean for the plan? Our Nabil Ramadani reveals what the city has to say.
Caps and stitches over I-35. Take a look at these renderings showing community gathering places like parks and hike and bike trails, all with the goal of reconnecting parts of Austin once physically cut off and divided from downtown by the freeway. It's a project that has left many questions, one of them being, will the city receive federal funding to help with the cost? This was Councilman Ryan Alter earlier this year.
That's just another one of these great unknowns. Cap and Stitch is a very expensive project by itself. This $100 million grant helps to alleviate some of those costs.
My colleague Grace Reeder also spoke with Councilman Chito Vela a few months ago.
If we don't get that $105 million, it's hard to see us in the short term doing much more than, like, let's say, one cap plus roadway.
On Wednesday, a city memo was sent out saying the $105 million neighborhood access and equity grant awarded to support a 5.3-acre I-35 highway cap through downtown Austin has been rescinded. reached out to the city to find out what the plan is moving forward. I asked if it will be canceled and if there is funding from somewhere else that the city can use. They sent us this statement saying the downtown Austin highway caps approved by City Council in the May 22nd, 2025 meeting will continue to move forward. Moving forward, though, without that $105 million. Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
And we will follow up to see if someone will sit down with us to talk about where the city will get the money for the project. Going in depth, that city memo that gave updates about the status of federal grants could also reveal trouble for Austin Energy's already awarded $32 million grant from the Environmental Protection Agency's National Solar for All program. KXAN previously reported that program was used to expand rooftop solar in the city, which likely helped reduce pollution in Austin. The EPA is reportedly preparing to send out letters terminating the grants as early as this week.
All right, a Taiwanese company could be looking at Williamson County for a massive new factory. New filings show a company called Pegatron Corporation intends to start work next month at the Blue Springs Business Park up in Georgetown. For some insight about this, we're joined today by reporter Justin Sayers with the Austin Business Journal. Justin, welcome in and thank you for being here again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So we mentioned the company's name there, Pegatron Corporation. Tell us a little bit more about what it does exactly.
Yeah, so they're a Taiwanese company. They're a contract manufacturer. So they work with the likes of big names like Apple, Tesla, Dell, and build consumer electronics for them. That could be something like a laptop or a gaming console. But they do work, both in Taiwan and other locations across the country, or across the world.
So they really pick up different projects given whatever needs are out there.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so very interesting. So everyone, of course, has been paying close attention to new tariffs taking effect. We talked about that earlier in the show. So how will this move help companies maybe avoid paying those tariffs?
Yes, I don't know about you, but in our neck of the woods, tariffs have been the biggest story this year.
Right.
Companies, especially ones that do business in multiple countries, have been looking for ways to ease those tariffs. And they've been trying as much as they can to avoid bringing that onto the consumer, because that's where it ends up. So by opening up a location in the U.S., they avoid that product crossing borders and having to pay that tariff.
So as we are waiting maybe this company to set up shop here and start business, what does that mean for jobs or even resources in our area?
Yeah, so we don't know the exact scope of the project. I can tell you from what we've heard on our end, it is a significant project, several $100 million of investment, a couple hundred jobs at least. So it is a big project. On that end, we've heard that a lot of companies, especially ones from Asia, are looking at Williamson County and the Austin area to avoid those tariffs. So the hope in the economic development circles is that this is the first of a few projects that will help create more jobs and investment here.
Potentially even more big development coming to Williamson County.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Well, thank you for following this for us, Justin. He's with the Austin Business Journal, and you can read more about that on their website. But thanks again for being with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.